This is Zoe Burgess, your city clerk. This meeting of the March 14th, 2022 regular city council is being held with a quorum of City of Westlake Council physically in attendance at the Westlake Council Chambers, 4005 Seminole Pratt Whitney Road. Public comments may be accepted prior to the meeting utilizing the electronic comment card available on the city's website. Public comments are also permitted at the appropriate time during the meeting. The mayor will call for such during public comments, and you may participate at that time, utilizing the system's virtual hand feature and waiting to be acknowledged if you wish to comment. Please note this meeting is being recorded, both voice and video, and to remember your mic may be live. I will mute any microphones that carry any feedback or interruptions. If you are a caller that has been muted, you may unmute yourself by pressing *6. Any person in the virtual meeting causing a disruption or being inappropriate will be removed from the meeting. If I may also remind those physically in attendance, please utilize microphones so that the virtual audience and a clear recording of the meeting is produced. Thank you, Mayor Manning.
Thank you. It's great to see so many people here tonight. I didn't expect to see, it's nice to see and so many people will be here to see us leave. But we haven't had this, I don't think we've ever had this many people at our city council meeting. It's very nice to see everyone here. Could we call the meeting to order? It's regular city council meeting in Westlake. It's now 6:37 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Katrina Long Robinson.
Present.
Councilwoman Kara Crump.
Present.
Councilwoman Pilar Valiaron.
Present.
Vice Mayor John Paul O'Connor.
Present.
Mayor Roger Manning.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order, we have any additions, deletions, or modifications for tonight's agenda?
None, Mr. Mayor.
Show none. We have a motion for approval.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Long Robinson, seconded by Vice Mayor O'Connor. Roll call. Councilwoman Long Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Crump.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valiaron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Mayor Manning.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Move on to public comments and requests. Do
Mayor-
we have any?
Mayor, I received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. Please state your name and your address. You have 3 minutes. If you've been muted, please press *6. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. Please press *6. State your name and address. You have 3 minutes. I have no comments, Mayor.
Thank you. We have any comments from the floor?
I received no public comment cards from the floor.
Okay, thank you. Move right along. Oh, Wheeler. Okay, we have one item on our consent agenda tonight. That's our financial report for January of 2022. Discussion. Show no discussion.
Motion to approve the consent
Approve.
agenda.
I'll make a motion to to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion to approve consent agenda by Councilwoman Crump, seconded by Vice Mayor O'Connor. Roll call. Councilwoman Crump.
Yes.
Councilwoman Valiaron.
Yes.
Vice Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Mayor Manning.
Yes.
Councilwoman Long Robinson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we move on to the reason why everyone's here. Let's have we're gonna have oath of office for Group 1, Group 2, and the mayor this time.
Greg's would be first. Yeah, the podium.
Foot shorter than you are. Good evening. It's my honor to be here today to swear my friend into office, Greg Langowski. For those of you who don't know, Greg and I were part of the federal family together. And I know Michelle McGovern is in the room too, and Ryan Hanodic from Senator Scott's office. We have worked well together for more than a decade. And the city of Westlake is extremely lucky to be gaining such a wonderful, committed public servant. And I know that he will continue his public service with honesty and integrity and empathy and do everything he can to continue to grow this beautiful new city in Palm Beach County. So I'm excited to be here for you tonight. And so you have to be a notary to swear somebody into office. So I took the 4-hour class and my notary stamp arrived this morning.
Oh, perfect.
That is how much I love Greg. So Greg, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I, Greg Langowski,
that I, Greg Langowski,
will support and protect and defend the Constitution
that I will support and protect and defend the Constitution
and government of the United States and the state of Florida
and the government of the United States and the state of Florida
against all enemies, domestic or foreign,
against all enemies, domestic or foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and that I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance to the
loyalty,
same,
and allegiance to the same,
and that I am entitled to hold office
and that I am entitled to hold office
under the Constitution of the United States
under the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Florida,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Florida,
and that I will faithfully perform all the duties of Group 4 council member
and that I will faithfully perform all duties of Group 4 council member
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
upon which I am about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
So help me God. Congratulations, Councilman.
It's time for Group 2, Mr. Julian Martinez. Swear Julian in.
Zoe will swear Julian in.
Okay.
You raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I, repeat your name,
that I, Julian Martinez,
will support and protect and defend
will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Florida
and the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
domestic or foreign,
domestic or foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and that I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance
loyalty, and allegiance
to the same.
to the same.
And I am entitled to hold office under the Constitution of the United States
The Constitution of the United States,
and Constitution and laws
Constitution and laws of
of the state of Florida,
the state of Florida,
and that I will faithfully perform all duties
and I will faithfully perform all duties
of Group Number 2 council member
Group Number 2 council member
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
upon which I'm about to enter, so help me God.
on which I am about to enter, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Time, sir. Oh, boy.
Westlake, they get all ready to get moved in. Actually, it's still, but this stays empty for a minute, so. All right.
Now it's time to swear in our new mayor. Sir.
It's just a piece.
All right. Well, this is an honor for me. I'm Dave Ehrenberg, State Attorney of Palm Beach County, and JP invited me to swear him in. It really is an honor. I see these friendly faces, and I can't say, JP, that I got like a notary's license to do this. Commissioner McKinley goes out of the way, gets to be a notary for this. The least I could do is to be on time, and I wasn't even that. So at least I'm here, and I want to recognize, I think Lexia is in the back, Lexia Cox, who is one of my finest assistant state attorneys, outstanding, and Latasha Loguna, resident of Westlake. And this is such a pleasure. Also, I want to add that, isn't it true that it is our friend Katrina who led to this, because she surprised you by making you vice mayor?
She made the motion. Yeah. Vice Mayor. I mean, we all voted on it unanimously. It was a unanimous vote, but she absolutely made the motion.
But you didn't even know about it. Well, that's a trick question, but see, you know sunshine law.
How could I know?
Okay.
That was the right answer.
You can tell the investigators to go home.
All right, where do you guys want me?
Wait, this is your show, so I want you, let's see, but one right here? Okay. All right. So JP, it's a pleasure. I know you work so hard for the city, and you're everywhere. This person's reports. Anytime anyone needs you, you've got the energy, the passion, the entrepreneurial mindset, and the freedom to golf cart. I know that's really
Huge.
So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I, John Paul O'Connor,
that I, John Paul O'Connor,
will support and protect
will support and protect
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and government of the United States
and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida
and of the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
domestic or foreign,
domestic or foreign.
and that I will bear
I will bear
true faith,
true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance
loyalty, and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
and that I am entitled
and that I am entitled
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution of the United States
under the Constitution of the United States
and Constitution and laws
and Constitution and laws
of the state of Florida,
of the state of Florida,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
all the duties of mayor
all the duties of mayor
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
My gavel now, guys. We are going to do our presentations and proclamations. First, for group number 4, Katrina Long Robinson, presented by myself, which are somewhere. Zoe?
Zoe, he's looking for his proclamations.
We'll get the hang of this, guys. Right there. Podium. Coming up.
Yes.
All right, Katrina, friend. This is a proclamation in appreciation of Katrina Long Robinson, recognition of her service to the city of Westlake, Florida. Whereas the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida desires to formally express appreciation for Katrina Long Robinson, who has served the City of Westlake in a dedicated manner, and whereas Katrina Long Robinson, serving as an inaugural council member, made excellent and constructive contributions to the City of Westlake, and whereas Katrina Long Robinson, serving as an inaugural council member, required courage and vision to create and set forth the foundations for the 39th municipality in Palm Beach County. And whereas Katrina Long Robinson was selected to serve the residents of the City of Westlake as a member of the City Council on June 27th, 2016. And whereas this time of service has been marked with one of dedication, one of the best interest of development of the community, and whereas it is fitting for formal recognition of her time and efforts to service the community, the City Council, as well as our citizens, we express sincere gratitude for a job well done. Not done yet. Now, therefore, on behalf of the City Council and the people of the City of Westlake, I, John Paul O'Connor, Mayor of the City of Westlake, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby officially proclaim appreciation to Katrina Long Robinson for her loyal and dedicated service to the community. And further, I call upon the residents of the City of Westlake to join me in this declaration of appreciation for Katrina Long Robinson for her service and wish her continued success in life's pursuits.
Thank you, Matt. So y'all sit down, sit down. Y'all gonna make me think I did a good job. Thank
all
you.
for you.
Oh, okay, now, okay, sorry.
Next part. Proclamation in appreciation of Kara Crump. It's a lot easier to say than Katrina Long Robinson. In appreciation of Kara Crump, in recognition of her service to the City of Westlake, Florida. Whereas the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida desire to formally express appreciation for Kara Crump, who has served the City of Westlake in a dedicated manner. And whereas Kara Crump, serving as an inaugural council member, made excellent and constructive contributions to the city. And whereas Kara Crump, serving as an inaugural council member, required courage and vision to create and set forth the foundations for the 39th municipality in Palm Beach County. And whereas Kara Crump was selected to serve the residents of the City of Westlake as member of the City Council on June 27th, 2016. And whereas this time of service has been marked with one of dedication of the best interest of the development of the community, and whereas it is fitting for formal recognition of her time and efforts to service the community, the City Council, as well as our citizens, we express sincere gratitude for a job well done. Now, therefore, on behalf of the City Council and the people of the City of Westlake, I, John Paul O'Connor, Mayor of the City of Westlake, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby officially proclaim appreciation to Kara Crump for her loyal and dedicated service to the community, and further call upon the residents of this City of Westlake to join me in this declaration of appreciation to Kara Crump for her service and wish her continued success in life pursuits. Speak up afterwards. Proclamation. In appreciation of Roger Manning, in recognition of his service to the city of Westlake, Florida. Whereas the City Council of the City of Westlake, Florida desire to formally express appreciation for Roger Manning, who has served the city of Westlake in a dedicated manner. And whereas Roger Manning, serving as an inaugural council member, made excellent and constructive contributions to the city of Westlake. And whereas Roger Manning, serving as an inaugural council member, required courage and vision to create and set forth the foundations for the 39th municipality in Palm Beach County. And whereas Roger Manning was selected to serve the residents of the city of Westlake as a member of the city council on June 27, 2016. Whereas this time of service has been marked with one of dedication for the best interest of the development of the community, and whereas it is fitting for formal recognition of his time and efforts, service to the community, the city council, as well as our citizens, we express sincere gratitude for a job well done. Mr. Mayor. Now, therefore, on behalf of the City Council and the people of the City of Westlake, I, John Paul O'Connor, Mayor of the City of Westlake, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby officially proclaim appreciation to Roger Manning for his loyal and dedicated service to the community. And further, I call upon the residents of the City of Westlake to join me in this declaration of appreciation to Roger Manning for his service and wish him continued success of life's pursuits. Katrina.
Well, good evening, everyone. I think I've only had to speak from here one other time. Uh, But first of all, I must say, I have to acknowledge my friends who came. So I have the trickiest and sneakiest friends, I think, in the world. I've spoken with all of these ladies, my dear friends who have come today, either group chat or phone. Nobody said nothing. When I pulled up, I see cars and things of that nature. So to my best friend, Alexia Cox, who I was with 6 years ago, doing what we do best in the Palm Beach Gardens Mall shopping, asking would I be interested in becoming a council member in Westlake, and to my dear friend Vernique Young Williams, who has been the backbone, to Christina Lambert, who I met 2017, and we have become inseparable ever since, and to Charisma Adams, someone who leads, guides, helps with my moral compass, to Kim, who talks to me about every single thing that we can, and to my dear friend Sophia Nelson, who made me do leadership Palm Beach County and leadership Florida. So I hope there's not another leadership. But I must recognize my daughter, Jasmine Holland, who is on virtually in Tallahassee, Florida, and thank her for sharing me with so many people, sharing her time, resources that I may have done for somebody, and I say, no, I don't have it because I did for somebody else. But to her, thank you, Jazz, for loving mommy and being patient with me for 6 years while I served. And to my parents who are on, I had to get them on virtually so that they could be on. They're 78 years young. And so they are technology challenged, but they on. And to my esteemed colleagues, I'm honored to speak tonight for the last time in the city of Westlake as an elected official in this community. You know, when I was a little girl, my life's dreams and aspirations were to be a successful attorney and famous tennis player. That did not work out. Although I grew up an only child, I was blessed to be one of the eldest of 9 first cousins, all of whom were more like my siblings. Growing up, my parents made sure that I treated each and every individual the way I wanted to be treated, regardless of their age, the color of their skin, or the amount of money they had. During my summers away in a small town called Callahan, I learned to say yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and spend time with senior citizens and grow an appreciation for them. This is what taught me that success and failure, when carried out with good intention, both lead to wisdom, peace, and kindness. Tony Robbins has a quote that simply states, "Go figure out what someone did, model it, improve it, but learn their steps, for they have knowledge." When I said yes to serving as an elected official in Westlake, Mr. John Carter, a city and a community that would literally have to be constructed and nurtured from the ground up, I knew I had to tap into these values from my childhood. I would need to lean heavily on my education skills from the Florida Agricultural University, Agricultural Mechanical University, the third largest historically Black university in the United States. I'd have to use my interpersonal skills I had developed while serving as a youth director for one of the oldest churches in West Palm Beach. And I would need to implement the leadership skills from the many professional development courses that shaped the classroom culture I built during my 15 years as an educator in Palm Beach County. But I would also have to grow into this role, which was far outside of my comfort zone. So I immersed myself in every leadership program I could on the municipal, county, and state level, and be present in the moment to identify what policies and businesses would make a city thrive well beyond my years. I've been blessed to have created and set policy here in Westlake. I'm especially pleased with having the opportunity to work with developers to create Westlake's Housing Assistant Purchase Program for our essential workers, to launch a Do Now, Build Towards program, which creates and enables a pipeline collaboration of our local high school students in our business community. Westlake's Do Now, Build Toward program approach is grounded in evidence-based strategies and improves student academic experiences and outcomes in the present, while laying the groundwork for long-lasting systemic changes in the future. I'm forever appreciative to my colleagues for entrusting me to serve as Westlake's first Black female vice mayor for 4 consecutive years. Because of your confidence, trust, and faith, I will be interwoven into the history of Palm Beach County. Your unyielding support led to the creation of an educational advisory board. We've crafted our very own human rights ordinance, securing equal rights, protections against employment and housing discrimination for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender and racially diverse members of our community. I'm also especially proud of the implementation of our very own municipal strategic plan and art and public places ordinance. A very, 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 very special thank you is owed to Zoe Burgess, who has become a friend and a mentor, helping me navigate a journey of do's and don'ts. To Ken, to my Ken. Ken, I know I was not always easy to deal with. However, your willingness and openness to be flexible never went unnoticed by me. Lastly, however, not least, to the residents of the city of Westlake. When I called, you answered. When I hosted events, you came. When I made an error, you corrected me in love. When I didn't know the answer, you were patient with me until I found out the correct one. And while I do not live in your city, you nevertheless helped me make it a home, providing me with every opportunity to serve you and your loved ones. For that, and for so much more, I simply say thank you, thank you. And you will always, always, please know you will always hold a near and dear place in my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Love you all.
While I certainly will not be able to top that, she is a brilliant woman. The Westlake is so lucky to have her, had her for 6 years. I'm short and sweet as always. When I was first approached and asked if I would be interested in sitting on this council, I was in my mid-20s with a career in the medical field. I didn't have prior experience in the local government, but I thought, wow, I'd have a hand in starting a city. This opportunity I cannot pass up. The first year of incorporation was quite intimidating. Seeing my name in newspapers, receiving a lot of media attention, some of which was negative, I quickly learned this was all part of the job. What a rare and unique situation I found myself in. I feel like it was just yesterday that it was me and a few others living on this property we call Westlake, and it's quickly turned into this beautiful, innovative community, growing more and more each day. Today is bittersweet because my time here has come to an end, but as this chapter closes for the interim council, Westlake will now have a full resident council on the dais as it should be. I am confident Mayor O'Connor, along with Ken and the rest of the council, will continue to do great things for the city of Westlake. I want to extend a big thank you to Minto, John Carter, Tara, Bob, Scott Massey, everyone at SID, and Don Hearing, Ken Castle, Zoe, our attorneys, Lynn, Nielsa, and all the city staff, all who have worked tirelessly to create this beautiful city. And to JP O'Connor, Katrina, Roger, and Councilwoman Balron, it's truly been an honor to serve with you all over the past 6 years. Thank you all for making my time here something I'll never forget. And thank you to all the residents.
For the first time, I don't have a piece of paper. Because it's been quite a journey. 6 years ago, when Mr. Carter asked me to serve, I had a lot of apprehension about it. This lady right up front was one of them that I was a little bit intimidated by. And I went home and I talked to my dad about it. Dad is in the construction business and had been for 40, almost 50 years. And he said to me, when I told him what was going on and the opportunity, he said, Roger, why wouldn't you be involved in something like this? It's the opportunity of a lifetime. It's something that you'll never, ever, and any citizen in the country would never get a chance to do. This is a chance to build a city from the ground up. Were his words. He's since passed on, and sometimes I cursed him when I was coming to meetings and things got a little bit tough at times. But now I see what he meant. I look at what this city has grown into since I spent 6 hours in a pickup truck with Scott Massey, who knows more about this property, I think, than anybody besides Mr. Castle. And 6 hours in the pickup truck, and I knew a lot about the ground out here. There weren't many buildings on it at that point, but there was a lot to learn. I learned that Tara knows a lot about the property also, spending her career here. I want to thank all the staff. This wouldn't be without the staff. Your city is here because of all the infrastructure that's been put together by Mr. Castle and his staff, and Mr. Carter, who's been helping out with a lot of the logistics and his team. I got to give a tremendous amount of credit to Mr. Castle, though. It's hard juggling these balls. I mean, being involved with Seminole Improvement District and the city and making everything come together is a real feat. And it has to be someone of his caliber is hard to find. I'm going to tell you, we're very lucky to have him here in Westlake. I'm gonna leave it at that. I want to thank everybody for their support, and I want to wish Mr. JP O'Connor and the entire council the fortune to have that I've had here, and that's to serve and be part of this amazing, amazing city. Thank you.
I'm going to start by thanking all of the outgoing council members. Kara, Katrina, and of course, Mayor Manning. Your contribution and your fingerprints will be on this city and this city's success forever. When you folks were appointed, the city was just a mere dream, a shell, a vision of what it would become. And I'm happy to report that US News just mentioned us as the top 25 small towns to live in. The US Census says that we are the fastest growing city in Florida. And not to mention, we lead the county in new home sales as of right now. So just want to say thank you. Yes. That's huge. You hit the nail on the head when you said building a city from the ground up, because that's exactly what you guys did. You laid the foundation to do so. And just like all the shiny new houses, without that good foundation, we wouldn't be where we are today. So thank you. I want to say congratulations to all the incoming council members. Greg, of course, Councilman Martinez, and Pilar, who was recently appointed. I am very, very excited to work with all of you. I know we can work together to make Westlake an amazing city. I have to say thank you to Ken and all of the staff, Nielsa, Suzanne, Zoe, of course, Zoe, everybody. You guys have been absolutely incredible. You are the backbone of this city. None of it would function without you guys. And you do incredible work. Thank you. None of it would work without you. Thank you. Of course, thank you to our landowner, John Carter, who had the foresight to his company purchase this wonderful 6.5 acres of paradise, 6.5 square miles of paradise. And without purchasing the land, none of us would be in this room today. So thank you so much. Incredible vision. My parents are here today. I'm going to thank my mom and my dad, who raised me to understand the value of hard work, integrity, honesty, kindness, friendship, and love. I'm so grateful for you both and so grateful for your support. My son, this little man right here, even after just being sworn in as mayor, my 1-year-old son, Jace, remains the greatest accomplishment of my life. Keep your eyes on Jace. He's going to do very big things. He's going to shake this world. I can pretty much guarantee that. My wife, Kaylee, my best friend, my rock, my greatest critic. So fortunate to have you, and I love you. Westlake is a city whose future remains bright. Our greatest asset is not our location. It's not being in the heart of Palm Beach County. It's not our affordability. It's not the shiny new homes, and it's certainly not our proximity to the beach. Our greatest asset is our citizens, all the wonderful people who call Westlake home. The values that we all share are the same values that will guide my leadership now as mayor. Together, we will lift this city to incredible new heights. We will set Westlake on a path to success with laser focus, a steady hand, incredible enthusiasm, and genuine love for this city. Throughout the city, we will attract great businesses and develop a diverse portfolio of good-paying jobs. We are not only Florida's newest city, but we are Florida's most innovative city, and I want Westlake to continue to be a hub for innovation. I ask you to join me to ensure Westlake's next chapter of growth is one of action, progress, and results. Let's all remember we have no path to follow. There is no path. We are literally blazing trails and setting our own path for success every single day. Today, I am humbled and honored to stand before you as Westlake's mayor. I now and always accept the responsibility of being a leader, being a role model. I will continue to push forward and blaze those trails to success. We have an amazing opportunity to build something really special here, folks. A world-class city, a vibrant epicenter of Palm Beach County, a great place to live, work, and play, a modern city with golf carts everywhere. Again, I stand before you humbled and honored. I want everyone to know that I have never been more excited and more optimistic about the future of our city. Thank you all, and God bless. Is there anybody else who would like to make some comments? Please.
May I do have a public comment from Michelle McGovern? Please state your address.
Hello, my name is Michelle McGovern, address 11758 Osprey Point Circle, Wellington, Florida, 33449. My name is Michelle McGovern, and I had to be here to support my dear friend Greg and my dear friend Katrina. Some of you may know that Greg and I, Councilman Langowski and I, used to be on opposite sides of the aisle. I worked for Senator Nelson, Greg worked for Senator Rubio, but that never really mattered in the work that we did for the citizens of Florida and Palm Beach County and the areas that we represented. And so we would drive together to meetings, we would work together on issues, and I can't just tell you how blessed you are to have Greg as part of your council. I'm cheering for you, bud. And we spend a lot of time on this side of the dais, and I hope to be on that side of the dais with you in not too near future. I also want to congratulate everyone on their elections, Mayor, and your handsome mini me. He even has a Westlake pin, which is the best. Just congratulations, and to the pioneers who helped to start this town. It's incredible what's happening here in Westlake. It's exciting what is happening here in Westlake. I may have mentioned that I am a candidate for the County Commission District 6. Westlake is a beautiful and proud part of the district that I hope to represent someday, and looking forward to meeting all of you in person in the future. And good luck and God bless.
Thank you. Commissioner McKinley?
I'm not gone yet, McGovern. So thank you. I wasn't planning on speaking this evening, but it seems appropriate to speak. You know, this city of Westlake started off with a slightly acrimonious relationship with Palm Beach County, and I'm really glad that those in Tallahassee didn't listen to me back then. It's an honor to be your representative on the county commission. John Carter and I actually gave each other hugs a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, we have a lot of issues that we're working on together. And that is how the relationship should be. It should be a healthy relationship between the two governing bodies for this part of Palm Beach County. I'm happy to be your partner. I'm impressed that I got 2 county buildings built before you built a city hall. But thank you to your speedy permitting department for making that happen. You know, we put our fire rescue station in your city limits. It's a beautiful station. It's a, you know, #1 fire department in the United States, if you ask me. I look forward to working with you to get a sheriff's substation in here and not a fueling station, and I will put that on the record. I'll fight for however hard I need to fight to make that happen. But I'm sitting up here looking at so many friends that are serving. I love, you know, just to point out that we have 2 Latino members of the city of Westlake, and that is a growing trend in Palm Beach County. And I'm happy to see that the community is reflective on the city council. I think that is amazing. And although she left, Katrina is my Leadership Florida sister. She's my local government sister. She was a tremendous asset to the city of Westlake. She really bridged the gap. I mean, she bridged that relationship between the county from my office to this city when she was first elected, and I will be forever grateful for that. And she's turned out to be a wonderful partner, and I look forward to seeing what she does in the future. Same with Councilwoman Crum. And then lastly, since he's still here, Mayor Manning, thank you for your service. Thank you for including me in conversations. I'm glad that we had the opportunity to extend those olive branches and work together. And I look forward to what you do in the future now that you have a little extra time on your hand. And then, Mayor, I will warn you that the state attorney also swore me into office. So I say that with a joke. I hope you have as wonderful a career in public service here as mayor in the city of Westlake as I've had on the Palm Beach County Commission. So thank you. For the clerk, it's Commissioner Melissa McKinley, 301 North Olive Avenue, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33401. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Having your support and having you as an ally absolutely means the world to us here at Westlake. Thank you. It's fantastic. I didn't get a chance to thank Dave for swearing me in. Thank you so much, Attorney Ehrenberg. That was incredible. Thank you. Any more comments?
Mayor, I have no other public comment cards.
All right, let's take a 5-minute recess and we'll keep on trucking.
Congratulations.
The meeting of the March 14, 2022 regular city council meeting is resuming at 7:32. Thank you.
So, Mayor, if I might, could I ask the city clerk to take a roll with any compliment of the council?
Yes. Councilman Langowski.
Here.
Councilman Martinez.
Present.
Councilwoman Valle-Ron.
Present.
Mayor O'Connor.
Present.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, next up, we have a proclamation declaring Florida Bicycle Month, March. And this was sponsored by Councilman Langowski. Declaring March 2022 as Florida Bicycle Month. Whereas the city of Westlake residents and visitors engage in bicycling as a viable and environmentally sound form of transportation and an excellent form of physical activity and recreation. Whereas the state of Florida recognizes March officially as Bicycle Month and Palm Beach County will recognize it locally. Whereas Florida Bicycle Month features a number of fitness opportunities and events for riders of all ages to enjoy throughout the month of various parks and locations throughout Palm Beach County. Whereas the recognition of Florida Bicycle Month will raise awareness of bicycling and ultimately promote physical activity and healthy lifestyles by elevating bicycling as a more widely accepted choice of transportation. Whereas the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency plans and recommends projects to make bicycling more accessible and promotes comprehensive community education efforts aimed at improving bicycle safety. Whereas through these efforts, Palm Beach County now has over 255 miles of designated bicycle facilities with more than 600 miles of additional bicycle facilities planned and will continue to promote a connected network of improved bicycle level of service. Now, therefore, it be proclaimed by the city of Westlake, assembled in regular session on this 14th day of March, 2022, that the month of March in city of Westlake is hereby proclaimed Florida Bicycle Month. Be it further proclaimed by the city of Westlake that this proclamation is duly sealed and executed by the mayor of this city. The foregoing proclamation was sponsored by Councilman Langowski, and upon unanimous consent of the city council, the mayor declared this proclamation duly enacted. Should we have some discussion on Florida Bicycle Month, or we good to go? Okay, great. So be it proclaimed. Next up, we have a public hearing. We need to get anybody who plans to speak sworn in.
No, sir, this is not a quasi judicial. Okay. So this is just a public hearing on this resolution.
This is for the resolution of the plat of Woodlands of Westlake, submitted by engineering. You have Mr. Herring.
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor and all the new council members. Congratulations. It's an honor to be here on your first night. The first item that is before you is a new subdivision here in Westlake, which will be known as Woodlands. And I'll just have a few graphics I can show you where it is at. So tonight we're here to talk about the plat. So a plat is a document that is required pursuant to Florida statutes to basically defines kind of the legal description where individual lots might occur on a piece of land. And a plat is required to follow very strict guidelines of the Florida statute, and then typically is recorded in the public record and then is sold to individual homeowners. So I'll present that for you. Site plans are reviewed administratively by your staff under the provisions of your code, and then plats come before you in accordance with the requirements of the Florida statutes.
Tap in there first.
This one first. So, there we go. There we go, that way to the right. So the subdivision is to be known as the Woodlands of Westlake, and this is located at the northeastern end of Westlake, immediately east of the Meadows, and immediately north of Orchards, which is Parcel S. We also refer to this as Parcel R2. And just to give you a little bit of perspective, this is a view looking over the Meadows to the northeast, where you can see the future Pod R2 or the Woodlands, which will be constructed there. Access will be from Town Center Parkway. This is just an illustrative of what the subdivision will look like. You can see this particular subdivision is intended to kind of be the sister community to the estates, which is Parcel T. So this will contain 75-foot by 130-foot lots, and you can see almost every lot is amenitized either on the parkway or with lakes internal or lakes to the exterior of the community. The entrance point, just for your information, is immediately opposite the Orchards, which is on the south side of the road, just on the south side of Town Center Parkway. The plot itself contains 90.73 acres. We'll have 149 single-family homes. There'll be that works out to a density, fairly low density of 2.1 units to the acre. It's a little bit lower density than what we traditionally have because of the large lots and the large lakes that we have. Very, very comparable to the estates. So the same product that's being constructed within the estates will be built here. It's going to be a beautiful subdivision. Going to do a little different twist on the landscaping since it's called the Woodlands. We're going to do something a little bit different to this, make it fun. Technically, what you're reviewing tonight is the plat, and this is what a plat document is. For the benefit of the few folks that are new, I'll just go through a couple of the pages. The cover sheet of the plat is the one that you, Mr. Mayor, will be signing, along with typically the mortgagee and Seminole Improvement District. And this particular page outlines not only the legal description, but how all the various parcels, the lakes and the open spaces and the buffers, how they are dedicated. Whether they're dedicated to the homeowners association or dedicated to Seminole Improvement District or dedicated to the city and Seminole Improvement District. So there's a number of dedications. So it's fairly standard. These documents are reviewed by your city staff, your city engineer, Suzanne Dombrowski and her consultants, as well as Seminole Improvement District and their consultants, to confirm that the document is consistent with the requirements, not only of the city code, but of the Florida statutes. And they have made that determination, which we refer to in the world of planning as technical compliance. So this plat has received technical compliance, therefore it's in front of you for your review and your approval. Typically, there's additional pages that show a little bit more detail, some call outs, show how the boundaries occur. And then I'm not going to go through every single sheet because there's multitude and they all generally look the same. There's a lot of distances and bearings for each lot that legally describe where each lot exists in space on the planet. So these are recorded and then enable you to purchase a piece of property that will be recorded in the public records of Palm Beach County. Here's another sheet. Again, they all generally look the same. They define the open space, the easements that run between lots that provide for utility services, the roadway tracks, and certainly the lots. So with that, certainly more than happy to answer any questions. This is just a technical document that's before you. Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you.
Hi. Good evening, Suzanne Dombrowski with Chen Moore and Associates. I'm the city engineer. And I just wanted to bring to your attention that there were some revisions made, which I believe Zoe has provided you. Those revisions are related to some of the utility easements. And Seminole Improvement District has already approved those. This does not affect the overall boundary of the pod. It's all internal. And we have reviewed them, and we do believe that it is still technically compliant. And so we have highlighted those revisions for you.
Thank you. So just the Cliff Notes, going to be twice the size as the estates roughly, just past the meadows, and same models as in the estates.
That is correct. Yep. The estates, I believe, has 75 lots. So this is just about 2 times the size and same exact models that you'll see there. The landscape theming is probably the only thing that you'll see is a little bit different.
Excellent. Do we have any council discussion? Questions?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022 -03, resolution for the plat of the woodlands of Westlake.
I second it. Do we need to read by title?
I'll do that, but if you'd open the public hearing.
We need public comments on this item. Do we have any public comments?
Mayor, I received no previous comment cards. We'll give the audience, the virtual audience, a moment to raise their virtual hand. We have Ms. Torres. Please state your full name and your address.
Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. I'm assuming it wasn't shown on the image, but I'm assuming that the southeast corner of the estates also has a lake.
No.
So that every single lot is has a water view. Is that the case, or?
Don.
For the record, Donaldson Hearing, just responding to your comment. The southeast side of the woodlands will be contiguous to Town Center Parkway, as it currently ends right now at the entrance to Orchards, and then would extend to the east and then ultimately northerly to 60th Street. So the lots that are adjacent to Town Center Parkway are on a large open space tract, which is no less than 50, but on average a little bit over 100 feet wide.
Okay, and no water views.
No water views for those lots. The majority of the lots are on the water, but there are some that are not.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Don.
If there's anyone else in the virtual audience that wishes to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. If you're unable to raise your virtual hand, please unmute your device, state your name and address. If you've called in and been muted, please press *6. Mayor, I see no additional comments.
Can we read by title?
Yes, sir. Resolution by title only, a resolution of City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, approving the plat for the Woodlands, Westlake being a portion of sections 5 and 6, all in Township 43 South, Range 41 East, City of Westlake, Palm Beach County, Florida, providing for recordation, conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2022-03, a resolution for the plat of the Woodlands of Westlake.
Second the motion.
Thank you.
Motion made by Councilman Langowski, seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call. Councilman Langowski.
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayron.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a ordinance 2022-02. It's our second reading, which addresses a vacancy in candidacy. This was submitted originally by our city attorney's office.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, for you and the benefit of the commission, this ordinance is intended to comply with the Florida statutes. Chapter 166 governs municipalities. And as a result of recent events within the city of Westlake, with vacancies resulting from withdrawals during candidacy, appointments to office, there wasn't a process in place to address the vacancy issue. So, as I said, in accordance with Chapter 166, we brought forward to you a proposed ordinance, which, as the Mayor indicated, passed on first reading. So it has two sections. Section A provides that in the event of death, withdrawal, removal, for mayor or city council, which occurs after the close of qualification, then in that event, the one remaining candidate shall be deemed elected. So the last person standing, be it vacancy, death, withdrawal, is then deemed elected without going through the election. The key is after qualifying. So that person's deemed elected. The second sequence of events is in the event of death, withdrawal, or removal from the ballot of one or more qualified candidates for mayor or city council, which occurs after the close of qualification for candidates, and if said death, withdrawal, or removal leaves no candidate for that district, then that event qualification shall be reopened for a period 5 days following the death, withdrawal, or removal. And then a special election is conducted 60 days thereafter. So all we're doing is putting in place a procedure that, should there be a reoccurrence of what we had in the past several months, we now refer to our ordinance, and this will address that issue.
Excellent. Do we have any council discussion on this item? Let's open for public hearing.
Mayor, we received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. Please state your name and address. You will have 3 minutes. If you're unable to raise your virtual hand, please unmute your device, state your name and address. We have no comments.
Get a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2022-02.
Leslie. Second.
Ordinance by title only, an ordinance of the City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, amending Chapter 3 to determine of the city's code of ordinances, creating section to be determined to be entitled vacancy and candidacy. Establishing procedures pursuant to section 166.031 Florida statutes to fill a vacancy and candidacy caused by the death, withdrawal, removal from the ballot of a qualified candidate following the end of the qualifying period, which leaves fewer than 2 candidates remaining to fill a position on the city council, providing for codification, conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
We have a motion made by Councilwoman Vayron, seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call. Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayron.
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Excellent. Now, let's open up for public hearing. This is quasi judicial. First item is MSP 2022-01. We believe we need to swear in anybody.
Yes, sir. All those
That speaks
individuals
on this issue.
who are going to testify during this application, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed.
Okay. And Nielsen.
Good evening. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations to each of you, this excellent new council. The application that is in front of you is from Winn-Dixie Master Signage Plan Modification. As we all know, Winn-Dixie is located on the Grove Market Plaza and is in front of you tonight to request a modification to a previously approved master signage plan. As we all know, the grocery store is located on the land use, downtown mixed use and zoning mixed use. Okay, back in August 9, 2021, the applicant was in front of council and was approved for a master signage plan. At the time, they applied and they were provided approval for those 3 signs that are on your screen. So the Winn-Dixie, the date itself since 1925 and the check mark. That was approved by council in August 9, 2021. Now, the applicant is in front of this council requesting 1 additional sign, the pharmacy sign. So this is an internal 900 square foot pharmacy to the store, which requires an additional exterior sign. At the time this came in August, the applicant didn't determine that this will be needed. So this is a new request. So the final look of the principal elevation towards Seminole Wigner Road will be as presented in this slide. The total number of signs will be 4 signs as shown on this slide. 3 of them were previously approved and now adding 1 more. So this is part of our code. It's very specific that there should be 1 sign facing each right of way, each street. So in this case, we have 4, but the 3 ones were previously approved. So that's the reason they are requesting a waiver, because they would like to add 1 more sign facing Seminole Pratt Whitney Road. So this was reviewed by the planning zoning, and we are recommending approval and without conditions.
Do we have any discussion on this item? I know for one, Winn-Dixie is very eager to get their pharmacy sign up. Comments?
If I might, Mayor, I'm sorry, just confirm, you said there's no conditions?
No conditions.
Okay, thank you.
Staff recommends approval.
Yes.
Okay. Should we read by title? Should we?
You don't need to.
No
sir.
title, just say. Excellent.
The process is you'll entertain this quasi judicial proceeding. If it's approved, we'll prepare a development order and submit it to the clerk's office, and you'll execute that.
Open up for public comment?
Yes, sir. Or if the applicant has any opportunity to speak.
The applicant is here, and I don't know if you would like to speak something, no?
Sounds like you're not. Motion to approve?
Excuse me?
We need to open up for public comment.
Yes, please.
Any public comments, Zoe?
I received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. If you've called in and have been muted, please press *6 or unmute your device. State your name and address. You have 3 minutes. I have no comments, Mayor.
Any comments from the public who is here today? Okay. Can I get a motion?
So motion to approve MSP dash 2022-01.
A second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Valley-Ron, seconded by Councilman Langowski. Roll call. Councilwoman Valley-Ron,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Langowski,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you to Winn-Dixie. All right. Next up, we have SPR 2021-14. It is a site plan review applied by Minto PBLH LLC.
All
Yes.
those individuals going to testify, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Solemnly swear to tell the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please proceed.
I do. Zoe, with the PowerPoint.
Is that, hold on.
Good evening. For the record, Nilsa Zacarias, Planning and Zoning Director for the City of Westlake. The application that is in front of you is for a warehouse to be built on parcel G Pod H. This application that will be built in parcel G Pod H consists of two buildings, a north building and a south building, for a total of 227,000 square feet. The future land use in the zoning is mixed use, and the total gross area, site area, is 17.41 acres. Here is the site plan in front of you. As I just mentioned, has two buildings, the north building and the south building. This drawing is also showing the access points. My presentation will focus on three key areas. Number one, the uses, the possible uses that will be allowed in this warehouse. The second part of the presentation is the waiver that the applicant is requesting to this council. And the third part of my presentation are the conditions of approvals. So I'm sure the applicant will go through specifics about the site plan. Let's focus on uses. As you recall, on the last meeting, there was already a preliminary discussion with regard to the uses. So since this is a light industrial warehouse, the first question when we receive this application is, what kind of uses are we going to have in this facility? So, and our code has a specific language for the light industrial uses. So I would like to read it into the record, because this definition that is part of our code will serve as the basis to allow or not a use in this facility. And also, it will be the basis later on for any type of code enforcement if needed. So this is a very important definition. Light industrial uses, land uses that include construction, operation, and storage facilities, manufacturing, assembly, processing, or storage of products, when such activities have minimal and inoffensive external impacts such as smoke, noise, dust, soot, dirt, vibration, strange, or adverse visual impacts on the surrounding neighborhood. Light industrial uses may include research and development technology centers, including server farms, medical and dental laboratories, warehouse and or distribution centers, and recycling centers. Light industrial uses shall not include mining and extraction industries, electrical generation plants, or regional sewer treatment plants. Next, the next slide is this application. We work very close with the applicant. At some point during the review process, we ask the applicant, please, can you provide us a possible list of uses? So this possible list of uses is part of your staff report and also part of this slide. So I will not read all these possible uses, but it's important The applicant is here. If you might have a question later on, this is a great opportunity. Let's talk about the waiver request. Right now, we have a zoning code, chapter 3, that says very specifically, and we frame it in red. It says that the maximum height of a wall or a fence shall be 6 feet, except for fences or wall for athletic training facility, which have maximum height of 8 feet. The city council may approve additional fence height for purposes of protecting public health, safety, or welfare. So as you see, the code is very clear here. This city council can approve additional fence height. So this applicant is requesting a waiver to install an 8-foot black vinyl fence with opaque slats on the rear of the buildings to ensure proper screening or unsightly materials. The next slide, I will show you exactly where are the proposed fences to be located. So the fencing height will be tenant specific, which means that depending on the tenant, they will request or not to have this fence on the rear of the facility. However, through the review process, we established that the whole rear of the building cannot be fenced out. So we established along with the applicant that only 10% of the gross building area could be fenced out. So which is 22,700. Let me show you. Here is the site plan that I wanted to share with you. So the entrance to that building, to the north building, is on the north, but on the rear, they can have an outdoor storage. And the thing is, if the applicant, if the tenant needs that outdoor storage just for any reason, then that outdoor storage must be fenced in, because we are Westlake. We are always looking at the aesthetic. We don't want to have a lot of materials that somebody's driving by. So if the tenant is planning to use that outdoor storage, then it needs to be fenced. And the applicant is requesting 8-foot fence instead of 6. So that's the part that I wanted to clarify. Also, as any other application, staff has reviewed all the different criteria for zoning, including setbacks, height, lot coverage, a number of golf carts, cart for non-residential. So the applicant is in compliance with all of those different criteria. Also, we look very close the architecture elevation of the proposed buildings, the north and the south building. And the review also includes a detailed review for landscaping and drainage. The drainage is reviewed by our city engineer, Suzanne. Landscaping is also reviewed by our landscape architect. This plan was also reviewed by Fire Safety, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, and traffic. It was also reviewed. The final remarks, and these are very important. Final remarks include the applicant is requesting the waiver for 8-foot fence. And also we are saying that the planning and zoning and engineering department is recommending approval with the following conditions. So there are a number of conditions, and we have worked very close with the applicant, and the applicant had agreed to these conditions. Condition number 1, all uses must be in compliance with the code definition of light industrial uses. That was that slide where I copy-pasted from the code the definition. Condition number 2, overnight storage or parking of delivery vehicles or trucks shall not be permitted on the property except within designated areas. So the parking lot will have designated areas where there could be overnight storage or parking from these delivery vehicles. Condition number 3, repair or maintenance of vehicles shall not be permitted on the property, excluding obviously emergency repairs. So we all are familiar sometimes with, car pieces or being there for months and months, and that cannot happen in this property. Number 4, stacking of pots and containers are prohibited. Through the review process, the applicant had agreed that this, like showing on this photo, it will not happen in this warehouse. The stacking of pots, number 1, is it's aesthetically not, it's not good. Number 2, also there are safety concerns. So number 5, all fencing for outdoor storage area shall not exceed 10% of gross square footage. So basically, the sum up of the buildings is 227,000 square feet, which means that on the rear of the building, they can only have fences up to 22,700 square feet. So those are number 6. One more condition. The store material shall not exceed the height of the fence, and shall not, the height of the fence is 8 feet, so they cannot be, higher materials that will be unseen and not aesthetic. So, and also shall not extend out from the back bay of the building no more than 60 feet. We included on this slide specific of the site plan. If you see, on the north building, you have 60 feet, then you have the driveway, and then you have another 60 feet. It cannot extend passing 60 feet. And then number 7, all chain link fence shall be black vinyl coated with opaque slate. So those are the 7 conditions of approval with regard to this application warehouse. Mr. Hearing?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Again, for the record, Donaldson Hearing here tonight on behalf of the contract purchaser, Ed Mitchell. And Mr. Mitchell and his lovely daughter is with him this evening. The ownership is still Minto PBH LLC, and Mr. Carter is also here this evening. This is really a very, very exciting project. This is the last. Well, actually, there'll be one remaining small parcel left in all of Pod H, which is very exciting. So this is going to be really a beautiful commerce center. We're calling it Westlake Commerce Center. There'll be all different types of businesses, and it's really being designed to be a first-class facility. The site is located in Parcel H, as Nielsa pointed out, so it's west of Seminole Pratt and south of Persimmon. Just an aerial, I just pointed this out, so this is kind of an interesting shot. You certainly see all the work that Publix is doing out there with all their underground and the completed portion of Persimmon. And then just further to the south is in the circle is where the Westlake warehouse and Westlake Commerce Center will be. So this is an enlargement that we put in front of you to be able to demonstrate not only the proposed project, which is the Westlake Commerce Center, but also so that you could understand the appropriateness of its location up against the south and west boundary adjacent to the self-storage facility. Access to the site, there'll be 2 points of ingress and egress to the site, one coming straight in off of the access road from Seminole Pratt, where you could also utilize the north-south road that basically provides access to all the parcels within Parcel H. On the frontage are the commercial properties, the restaurants that and retail that Conover South is proposing. And of course, the 7-Eleven at the corner looks like they're getting close to being opening. And then immediately north of and contiguous to this site is the Adrenaline World site. As Nielsen pointed out, we did try to provide you a nice list of the potential users. This particular type of building typology is utilized by all different types of users. We anticipate it to be very popular out here at Westlake for certainly the building trades, whether it's a marble and tile fabricator, a plumbing supply, a pool supply, all different types, even some light manufacturing. Generally, as we've come to learn, is that typically your users aren't identified until after your walls are kind of already going up. But very diversified product type that can stand the test of time. As we'll show you, there could be 1 or 2 tenants, or there could be 10 tenants, just depending on the leasing and the need in this particular area. Again, this is the site plan. Just enlarge it and got rid of the other parcels just so there's less noise. And then again, the architecture, as you can see, is really, if you follow the development of Pod H as we've moved forward, starting with the self-storage, I think, or actually the 7-Eleven was the first site plan that was approved, and then the self-storage, and then the commercial by Conover. There was a very intentional approach that Mr. Carter and his team had communicated to the purchasers so that we could have an architectural theme that was diverse, but maintained a little bit of the contemporary forward-leaning edge. So very simple colors, really nice. And of course, we've done a nice job with the landscape to make sure that it really relates to the architectural design. These are the elevations of the building. And so while the palm trees that you're seeing are just sable palms, your Florida state tree, that's been used in a very intentional and deliberate way to really reinforce the kind of the high-tech flavor of the architecture that we've been trying to achieve. Here's another rendering up close. This is the building that's closest to that access road that runs north-south. So when you come in straight in off of Seminole Pratt, this is what you would see. And again, the around the perimeters, you generally have doors and entrances and with glass, so there's visibility in. And then the loading or the more industrial function really only takes place within the loading zone in between the 2 courts of building. So we do have a signage program, which is the next item on your agenda. So we'll talk about signage then. But also the building will have very nice signage that will complement it well. Just reinforcing Nielsen's discussion, we have 1 waiver request. And Mr. Mitchell and his experience in the industrial world, we really want this to be a first-class industrial facility. And so rather than having storage that might be anywhere outside outside of the building, certain users do need some outdoor storage. One example that Mr. Mitchell uses commonly is plumbing supply. Sometimes a very large PVC pipes that just can't be moved in easily in and out of a warehouse setting. So they're stored in an outdoor area such as this. And we'd much rather have them here out of sight, screened. And as Nielsen pointed out, no higher than the height of the fence. So the maximum height would be 8 feet. And so your code does allow you to provide a waiver when it's in the public interest. And in this particular case, it's in the public's interest because this will screen and provide better visual protection, even though it's in the loading zone. And the design of the site kind of has wing walls to hide the loading zone. This provides that added protection. And really, Only a few of the tenants ultimately would take advantage of this based on their need, but those that need it, it provides a great benefit to them. And so with that, we are in agreement with all the conditions that were pointed out by your staff. And I see Mr. Carter right here wants to say a few words, and I know the city attorney had a question as well.
No, you answered. I just want to make sure on the record you agreed to all the conditions.
Yes, sir. We agree to all the conditions, and also want to thank staff. Nielsen goes out of our way in advance to make sure that we've had the opportunity to review the conditions, to make sure that they're acceptable to the city and to the applicants, so we don't have to argue in front of this board if we're not in agreement. So thank you very much, Nielsen. Mr. Carter.
Thank you. For the record, John Carter, Senior Vice President with Minto, 16604 Town Center Parkway North, Suite B in Westlake. First, congratulations to the mayor and the council. It's really a milestone tonight. And I gave Tara a hug from the side and said, we birthed the city tonight. So thank you for your leadership. If I may, I want to walk down memory lane a little bit with Don and Tara. So if I go astray, correct me. But, I always, in my mind, put myself in your shoes and can imagine why this use, why this place in terms of light industrial and Ed Mitchell's group. And to 2015, when we secured the original entitlements, 14, thank you. You just aged me, you. That's why I have these guys. So if you rewind back to October of 2014, there was a number of things that the original county approval that Commissioner McKinley alluded to, which really illuminates, I think, and shines some light on why here, why now with this project. So the initial approval that came from the county in the way of our traffic vesting included the homes, obviously, but also don't forget it included in the traffic vesting that we received 2 million square feet. Well, that's a big bucket of development when you say 2 million square feet. And really it's in 3 smaller buckets. One is more retail oriented, and that was several hundreds of thousands of square feet. But by far, the 2 other largest buckets were a category, oddly enough, called R&D, research and development, which by any other normal term we would call office, and industrial. And so going back to that point in time, as Don, myself, and Tara were dealing with the county planners on what would this development want to be and need to be, there was a very critical component of that, which was not only do we need basic services, the Taco Bells, the Publixes, the restaurants, those types of basic services, no doubt. Obviously the rooftops. But going back to that original vision, which I embraced and Minto embraced, was also viewing Westlake as an employment center. And so we already see a shining example of that with the tax collector's office that opened up. I would even say to some degree the fire station is indicative of that, maybe a little bit more of the basic services aspect of it. But clearly the tax, that's an office, right? In fact, we had to port over some of our R&D to equivalent that to the tax collector building. But to me, when Ed and his group and Stephanie approached me about this project, my spider senses went off, because this was really the first opportunity that we could come in and bring jobs into the community. Now help me here, Don, it's 227,000 square feet. And Ed, you're planning to build that all at once? All at once. And that would equate to, and I'll paraphrase, and I'm going back from general economic studies we did back in 2014. That's hundreds of jobs in that one 220,000 square foot facility. So why now, why here? To me, this is really our first opportunity to bring that vision forward, to not only have, as Nielsa articulated in our comprehensive plan, we want Westlake to be a community where you can live, work, and play. And so now, to me, this is really that third leg beginning to come forward and manifest itself. And with that, I just wanted to provide a little bit of that historical context and just share that with this council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a couple quick questions. I don't know whom they would be better suited, but just a couple. One, we talked about designating some parking for that would be overnight. When does that get designated and how does that look?
So overnight parking would be permitted in any of the loading bays.
Okay.
Those are all designated on the site plan. And then also on the south side of the site plan, I think we have maybe 28 or 30 spaces where trailers could be stored overnight. So they're specifically designated and specifically screened. So you just can't park in the parking lot and leave your overnight or haphazardly. You either have to be in a bay where you're supposed to be or in one of the designated spaces as shown on the site plan.
And then the second question, and it's actually in spirit with one of our agenda items, is we have this art in public places ordinance. Has the applicant, the contract purchaser, thought about what art and where and how that would look?
We have not. That's on our list of things to tackle.
Excellent. And then my third question was going to be how many jobs? But John alluded to that. So a couple hundred jobs. I love it. Thank you.
You're very welcome, sir.
We have any council discussion?
I'll just have a comment, and that is for the fencing. I like the idea of the waiver and having things hidden, so I'm good with it.
Thank you very much.
I just would like to clarify something, please. As we mentioned, the building, the two building is 227 square feet. And also, please, the outside storage is 22,700 feet. So that's was something that.
Thank you. For the record, also, this would be one building where I would be okay with not having tons of golf cart spots. I will add, though, that the applicant is going to spread electric vehicle chargers throughout the entire parking lot. I had the opportunity of looking through the plan. There's plenty of them everywhere. So I thank you for that and keeping our city green.
How many individual storefronts are we looking at?
I believe there's 12 to 14 different opportunities to go in. When we show you the signage, it's a little bit clearer. We'll walk through that in a little bit more detail. The likelihood is you could have 2 tenants, 6 tenants, 12 tenants.
Good evening. My name is Tara Dewey. I'm with the law firm of Lewis, Longman and Walker, and I am land use counsel for Minto PBLH LLC. I'm speaking on behalf of the applicant tonight, and mainly just to introduce myself and say that I very much look forward to working with all of you. However, there is one housekeeping item that I would like to direct or ask the city attorney if he could request ex parte communication disclosures, because I believe there may have been some ex parte discussions with council members and my client. So I'd like to clarify the record for that.
Prior to the vote, if you would, for the record, state if you've had any discussions with members of the applicant or any consultants regarding this issue, when you had those conversations, whether oral conversations, emails, and what was the subject matter, if you would, please, prior to the final action.
Excellent.
I'm sorry, I don't know. How many bays do we have for 18-wheelers?
26.
There's about 30.
30 bays for
30
18-wheelers.
bays, yeah.
Do we have any stipulation on how many 18-wheelers we're allowed to have? Each one's allowed to have 18-wheelers? I mean, are we going to have a train of 18-wheelers coming in and out of this parcel?
Councilman, the number of vehicles, will vary. You'll have different types of users. You might be some users that all they get are box trucks.
Right.
There might be some that will get one 18-wheeler that will deliver, the large goods, and then they'll go out and be repackaged into smaller goods, whether it's out by UPS or FedEx. So very unlikely that you'll have 18-wheelers in every single bay.
Right.
For this type of facility. There are larger facilities, that can be up to 1 million square feet where you might have all 18-wheelers. So we can't tell you that there won't be, but it's very, very unlikely that would be. So typically, those types of vehicles are, come in, off peak hour. They want to come in, unload, and then leave and get back onto the road. So you're never going to see, I think, rows of
Okay.
trucks at any time.
Understood. Thank you.
Let me ask you another question. The fences, are they going to be built prior or they will be built after they get a tenant?
Yeah, they would only be built if there was a specific tenant that would need it. I mean,
So then we're going to see some of them are going to have fences, some of them are not going to have.
and again, they're all within the loading zone. So in the back of the building, there's a 60-foot concrete area, which is generally where the trailer would sit. If somebody needed a storage area, it would be within that 60-foot zone, extending from the face of the building out based on their need. And so if somebody was using a storage area, they would forego a number of their loading spaces in order to have them. And it would be, a maximum of about 27,000 square feet, 10%, which is what is a condition of approval. So it would only be a limited number of them that would likely occur.
Okay.
Mr. Herring, also wanted to piggyback off of that question. Let's say we have one tenant has an 8-foot set up, request the waiver for the 8-foot. Let's say he leaves in a year. Will that fence have to be taken down or grandfathered in?
Well, the waiver is granted universally for up to 10% of the square footage. If that tenant goes away and the next tenant doesn't need outdoor storage and needs to utilize the loading zone, the fence simply would be removed.
Any more discussion? Do we have any public comments?
Yes, this is Nancy Bongiovanni. Can you hear me? I don't know. I have my hand raised and nobody has said anything. Hello?
We can hear you perfectly.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to speak? I have not been accepted.
Yes, please, Ms. Bongiovanni, state your name and address. You have 3
Nancy-
minutes.
Nancy Bongiovanni, 16016 Whippoorwill Circle. I just want to make an observation on your light industrial uses statement. In here, it says that activities will have minimal and inoffensive external impacts, such as smoke, noise, dust, and I see that you've made some amendment to that in red, and I agree with all of that. I would like to recommend that you include in there biohazardous materials. So that's something that should be thought about. Airborne biohazardous materials or biohazardous materials that could be dumped someplace on the land and get into the water system. So just as a nurse, I kind of have a little red flag on that kind of stuff. And that's all. Thank you so much, all of you.
Donaldson Hearing again. We would say the following. First, we will be required to follow all of the requirements of Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, as well as Palm Beach County's Wellfield Protection Plan. So if we're concerned about things being released into the air, we certainly understand that. But there could be times when there are materials that were stored in accordance with state and federal law that were flammable. So just want to be careful on how any condition is proposed. So we will meet all Palm Beach County Fire Rescue standards, and as well as well field protection. And I am told, I learned on Friday, that this particular facility will actually have an enhanced fire suppression system that's done in zones, that as soon as something is detected in the zone, that immediately it gets actually like substantial water, not just a sprinkler coming on, in order to stop and extinguish the fire as opposed to just contain the fire. And so this facility will have that system in place.
I think she meant like pharmaceutical, medicine, something that it will be like biohazard.
Right, yeah, and anything that we would do would have to conform to all state laws and rules of the county. And like I said, we don't anticipate, a biopharmaceutical, but something like that could potentially come and be manufacturing and would be permitted by your code. But if it did come,
My suggestion, sir, was that in addition to smoke and dust and noise and soot and dirt, that the consideration of biohazardous materials be included in that statement as a part of the city code, not specific to your, your very well thought out development.
Again, Tara Dewey, on behalf of the applicant. I think the public speaker just clarified the point. The light industrial definition that was showed to you tonight by Nielsa is already a part of your code. So to the extent that you would want to amend your code at a future time to address that issue, that would be the appropriate time to do that. But currently, that is the code language that governs the light industrial uses. And I think all of what Mr. Herring has said about the protections that are already in place through various other agencies is sufficient to cover that particular issue for this project.
If there's anyone else that wishes to make a comment, please state your name and your address. Please raise your virtual hand if you're unable to do so. Please press *6 if you've called in and have been muted. I see no additional comments.
Do we have a motion?
Could we get a disclosure,
Oh,
please?
yes, of course.
I've had no discussion.
I did have the opportunity to sit with Don and the applicant, and they took me through, I did so on Friday of last week. They took me through the entire presentation that we just saw and told me all about the wonderful fire suppression system that was installed, as well as the electrical vehicle chargers, and were very patient and answered all my questions. Anyone else speak with the applicant?
No discussion.
I've had no discussion.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve SPR -2021-14.
Would that include the waiver
Including
and the conditions?
and the conditions spelled out on staff recommendations.
I second.
We have a motion by Councilman Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Valley-Ron. Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Langowski,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Valley-Ron.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Next, we have MSP 2021-08. It's the master signage plan.
All those individuals going to testify during the course of this application, please stand, be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please proceed.
Good evening. Following the approval of the site plan application for the warehouse, this subject application is with regard to the master signage plan for the north building and the south building. What will we do without you? Sorry. Thank you. The subject building that was just approved by this city council is a warehouse and has two buildings, the north and the south, located on parcel G on Part H. So this is the site plan that was just approved. So let's talk about signage now. So let me just mention to you that this application is requesting 32 waivers to this council. And there is a reason why they are 32 waivers. So number one main reason is that our code allows to the applicant to come in front of council and request the waivers. That's part of one of the sections of our code. But specifically, why this application is requesting this number of 32 waivers is because two main reasons. The first reason is that if you look at it, the orientation of the building, the north and the south building, they are not fronting Seminole Pratt Whitney Road. They are perpendicular. So that's the first reason. And our code says that all signage must be fronting a right of way, a road, Seminole Pratt Whitney, or other road. So that is one of the main reasons why. The second reason why this applicant is in front of you requesting 32 waivers is because they still do not know how many tenants they will have. So this is very interesting application, I would say, because most of the time we know exactly what will be the use. We know exactly how many offices there will be in a building. However, this application, we know in general what will be the use. We have a definition, and we know in general how many tenants will be. So we have the following slide will break down each waiver and the reason why. So the first site plan that is in front of you has specifics with regard to what type of signage is the applicant envisioning to have. So there will be primary wall signs, there will be ground signs, directional signs. So let's start with this slide. When we were going through the application, the review process, we worked really close with the applicant, and we asked, please, can you provide a most likely scenario? And this is the scenario number one. How many tenants will be more likely in the north building and the south building? So, and they provided these graphics, which explains, the number of most likely tenants. So also each of those tenants, if, for example, put yourself in the tenant situation. If you are one of those tenants, you want to have a sign. So, and you, rightfully so, you are allowed to. So the tenant will be permitted to have one principal tenant wall sign, or they may choose to utilize a secondary tenant wall sign, but are not permitted to have both. And I will explain through slides what are we talking about. There is a second scenario, is this, for example, if there are tenants, only 3 tenants on the north building, and maybe only 1 tenant in the south building. As you see, this application has been challenging because we still don't know exactly how many tenants. So, so this is the scenario number 2. Now, we'll go through each of the waivers. Why is the applicant requesting this amount of waivers, and what the code says and what is the waiver. So with regard to the ground sign, number one, the applicant is requesting the height to be 14 feet. Our code only allows 8 feet height. So that's the first waiver with regard to this type of sign. Number two, the overall sign area is 155.40 square feet, which exceeds what the code says that is only 120 square feet. That's the second waiver with regard to this type of signage. Number three, the ground sign copy area is 81 square feet and exceeds 60 square feet that is allowed per code. Number four, the sign that the applicant is proposing has 10 tenant names. However, our code only allows 6 tenant names. Number five, the base is also 2 feet maximum height is allowed per code, and the applicant would like to have 2.6 feet. For this specific type of signs, the applicant is requesting 5 waivers. So if you start counting, we will arrive to 32 waivers. With regard to ground sign for commercial building, so the applicant is requesting to increase the tenant ground sign height for the north and south building to 3 feet from the required 2 feet maximum height. So this is basically 2 waivers, because one for the north building and one for the south. With regard to the wall signs, the signs that will be by the building, the applicant is requesting one sign with a 6-foot logo. Well, our code allows only one message per sign, so in this case, we have the logo and we have also a message. So that's the reason it's already waived. Number 2, 4 signs on the north building that are not fronting the right-of-way. Yes?
Just like this question. For the ground sign, I know it's internally.
You want me to go back?
No, it's fine.
Oh.
I know it's internally illuminated. The signs on the building, will those be internally illuminated? I didn't see that
Yes.
part. Okay.
Yes. So then there are 2 signs on the south building that are not fronting the right-of-way. Let's continue talking about the wall signs. Then the code requires 90 square feet to be those signs. The applicant is requesting 180 square feet. Also, the 40 inches letters height with a 6-foot logo, exceeding the code requirement of 36 inches. So the letters are larger also, the font. Then we have signs on the north building and south on the south building. So here it is a total of 7 waivers with regard to wall signs. So and that drawing that is there is showing what is the principal tenant wall sign, and then the other one on the side, it will be the secondary tenant wall sign. Once we talk about secondary tenant wall sign, and please keep in mind, one of the challenges is that we don't know how many tenants we will have. So let's keep that in mind. So this will be the maximum number of waivers and tenants. So the copy area of one line with 5-foot logo exceed the code requirements, including a logo for both the north and south building, totaling 2 waivers. And then there is 9 signs on the north building and 5 signs on the south building that are not fronting a right-of-way. So as you see, from the get-go, these 2 buildings were facing the challenge of not being facing a right-of-way. And that's the reason the amount of waivers. So, and then the copy area also exceeds, it's supposed to be 90 square feet per code, and it's 220 square feet. Then again, we have the logo, 5-foot logo. With regard to the secondary tenant wall signs, the total, like we said, is 5 waivers. With regard to the rear of the wall signs, also there is a number of waivers that will be located where the loading zones are. So in those, the total number is 4 waivers. Building ID signs. Building ID signs are critical because for fire safety, if there is any problem, the fire rescue needs to be able to immediately identify the buildings. So there is also a number of waivers for building ID signs. The total number of waivers is 5 because that includes letter height. For example, the code requires only 36. The applicant is proposing 48. Tenant directional signs also. The applicant is requesting dimensions that are not allowed per code. So each time that the applicant requests a dimension that is not allowed per code, then it becomes a waiver, a request for a waiver. With regard to final remarks, we are proposing the following conditions of approval. Tenants will be permitted to have one principal tenant wall sign. 1. They may also choose to utilize a secondary wall sign in lieu of a principal tenant wall sign, but not both, unless they are on a different elevation, on a corner. A tenant that is on a corner could have, in each of the sides. But that condition is very clear. If you are not a corner, you only are allowed to have one sign. Condition number 2, each tenant will be permitted one rear wall tenant sign, only one on the rear. So a major tenant may be permitted 2. So that was also a condition of approval. Mr. Herring?
I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker. For the record, Donaldson Hearing here tonight on behalf of the Mitchells as well as the landowner Minto PBH LLC. And I'll try to be brief. I think Nielsen did a very good job. And you noticed, we don't know who the tenants are. So most of the waivers that we're asking for are really related to flexibility. So on the screen right now, it is important to note that several months ago, we came forward on behalf of Minto, the master developer, and approved a whole series of signage typologies that we would see along the main road. And that included, there were 3 or 4, those that are highlighted there in the yellow. There were 3 signs, 2 ground signs and 1 secondary ground sign that were located basically in front of this parcel. And we're going to be eliminating those 3 and modifying them with another one of the signs, with the primary ground sign that was approved as a part of this petition, which was associated with the master developer. And so the slide that's up on the screen right now basically shows we eliminated the 3 signs and where we're proposing the 2 larger ground signs that Nielsen pointed out that were 14 feet. They match the ground sign that's 14 feet that's all the way out on Persimmon, all the way up at the north that was previously approved. So we eliminated 3 signs and we basically added 2, and those would enable some of the tenants that are in the back of the facility to have some recognition out there on that north-south spine road and give a little bit of recognition and wayfinding to get there. And then, as Nielsen pointed out, this map basically would is to show you, if there's one of the council members asked how many bays there are. Actually, you could potentially have 14 different bays by the bay doors. I think I stated 12. There's 14. You can see on the south building there are 4, and then there's 10 on the northern building. So potentially 14 would be your kind of your maximum number of tenants. We anticipate much less than that. So it's a lot easier to kind of use these scenarios right here for to be able to show you what we're trying to do. So let's just look at tenant A to start with. So on the corner of, let me go back here. Okay, on the southeastern corner of Building A, there's an address. Basically, it would say the street address, and then the principal building identification sign, and we would anticipate that to say, right now we're saying Westlake Commerce Center. That's to identify the project as a whole. Then tenant A has actually multiple access points into his bay, since he's a corner bay. So he's got that great frontage fronting Seminole Pratt Whitney, and then he's got frontage to the north. So the tenant has the opportunity to choose what we call the primary tenant wall sign, which would be the red, which would be right directly over the door, or the secondary tenant identification sign, which would be to the left or to the right of the door. And it's really their preference, but they can't have both. When you look at the yellow and the green, the tenant C and tenant B, in those particular cases, we have 2 different tenants using the same kind of the entry portal. There are 2 doors, one goes to the left and one goes to the right. So they can only have the secondary tenant identification sign, because it would be very unusual to have just a sign over the center when there's 2 different tenants going into that bay. So that's what we're trying to demonstrate on the graphics that are in front of you. And these graphics were very helpful for staff to understand. One of the things that we're also proposing, and I'll show you, we talked about the ground sign, the tenant ground sign. These buildings, and that's the kind of one of the things that we always try to communicate properly to staff and to yourself. The buildings are 50-foot tall buildings. These are large, they're warehouse buildings, so they're very, very large. From a scale standpoint, we try to break that down and make it a little bit more human in terms of scale. And so what we're allowing our tenants, and it's their option, it doesn't mean that they'll take advantage of it, to have the tenant ground sign right in front of their space. So when they're pulling in with the car, they're not having to look up 50 feet to see the sign. They can just see it right there at eye level. So it becomes intuitive. And it's just a nice touch that we would have. So that's the signage that goes around the building. This is very likely, Nielsen kind of pointed out the max. In the rear of the building, the little dots are where there would be a bay door. So if it's an active bay door, there'll be a number so that when somebody comes in, they'll know to go to bay door number 6. And it's real easy. They don't have to stop in the middle. They know exactly where they're going to go. And also, as you can see on that screen, the little green signs, that's basically just a relatively small sign in the back. So if it's Sunshine Plumbing Supply, when somebody comes in and they're loading in the back, they know where Sunshine Plumbing Supply is. So very well thought out. And that's the benefit of a master signage plan, is it's all thought out cohesively in terms of the fonts, the letter styles. If it's a national tenant with trademarks, they can utilize their colors and their logos. If not, we've got a standard palette for them, so we maintain that level of consistency. We do allow for logos. A lot of people in these type of spaces won't use a logo, but some of them do. And so we provide for those options. And I've got an image that will show you what the logos would look like in terms of scale. This was the second option, which is, again, depending on leasing. This is 4 tenants versus what the previous was with, I think we had 8 tenants. This is 4 tenants, but very, very likely. And probably the more likely scenario for tenant space A, because that is one of our prime spaces. You know, naturally, you're going to try to lease that to one of your premier tenants on the site. We do have directional signs as well. So these images, I think Nielsa pointed out in terms of where the signs go on the building. And then I did this little image for you because I thought it would be helpful. So this is real to scale, and we're showing a 6-foot logo, and we're showing a 5-foot logo. And we don't have 7-Eleven coming here, but you have a 7-Eleven out front with a 5-foot logo. And just to give you the idea of how scale of a building makes the perception of a signage seem different. So, you know, as you can see, these seem relatively small in the context of that particular building. So we've tried to be very sensitive in terms of the sizing of the letters, the copy area, so that it was in scale and in context to the building. And remember the renderings, I probably have one in here. We also have lots of landscaping that also provides a great complement to the overall building. So this is just another shot of the landscaping. So the area of the primary sign, the one that would be in red, would be basically in the center of the blue parapet elements that you see. And if it's a secondary, it would be off to the side, just above the sable palms where we have them. And then if it's a ground sign, it's all the way down. So everything's been very carefully thought out so that we can really have a first-class facility that's here. Again, this is that ground sign. It's relatively small. It's only 4 feet tall, so it's only about that. But if you're pulling in your car, it's kind of reassuring to know that's where it is, because you don't want somebody driving looking up. So that's what those are. Directional signs. These are I guess obviously more for wayfinding. And again, they're a little bit larger than you might typically have, but we also have large trucks that come in. We want to make sure people know where to go and make sure that it's extremely intuitive. That's good for public safety. And then the primary ground signs. This is the same sign that was previously approved out on Persimmon, and we just have 2 of them. Here you're seeing a multitude of tenants. Again, if we have 6 tenants, there'll only be 6 panels. If we have 12 tenants, you'd have 12 panels. And those are at each of the main entrances to this facility. And with that, again, just for the record, we are in complete support of staff's recommendation, and I will let my wonderful counselor add to whatever she would like to add.
For the record, Tara Dewey, Lewis Longman and Walker, on behalf of Minto PBLH LLC. Hello again. This is quite an application for you guys to get for your first night, right? 32 waivers. That sounds a little complicated. So just to give you, I'm sure you have not had a chance to read your entire land development code at this point. I wouldn't be shocked if you did. If you did, I would fall out of my chair. But I just wanted to make, as Nielsen mentioned, just give you a little background. Your sign code is very detailed. It has very detailed requirements for height, for text type, for location. And as Nielsen said, that applies and works in most cases. However, when you have a project of this nature where you're trying to foster businesses, you need to make sure you do wayfinding, you need to make sure you do appropriate marketing. But trust me, Minto is as worried about the appearance of it all as you are, as this community is still building out. So I just wanted to draw your attention that these waivers are permitted from those very detailed requirements as a particular section of your code called Section 6.9 Master Sign Plan. And it reads, the City Council, at the time of development order or site plan approval, may waive one or more of the requirements of this chapter as part of a master sign plan. And as Dawn said, this is very consistent with what was done for Pod H. So the signage won't be different. It's just going to be more consistent with what has already been approved and appropriate for this particular type of development, which may not fit within all of the very specifics for your current code. So while it sounds very voluminous in terms, I just wanted to make you aware that when we were drafting that up and when Nielsen was putting all that together, we were well aware that those measurements that we were picking for each little detail might not apply or be appropriate for all projects. That's why this particular provision is in your code, so that you can make a determination of what is appropriate in a given project. So I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
And additionally, when we were drafting the code, we set it up because we wanted to encourage people to do a master sign plan. Because it ends up in a better product. So we've done that. We did it with 7-Eleven. Pretty much every project that you've seen come through, Christ Fellowship, you'll see that coming through, I think probably next month or so. And it's because it creates a whole cohesive environment, all the wayfinding, everything's kind of themed and it ties together as opposed to something that might be haphazard. And so if somebody just wants a standard sign, they can do a standard sign. But if they do a master sign plan, we can end up with a better product. So be more than happy to answer any questions.
One question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm well aware of when you have to put signs out because I have a business, and I agree that you have to put font and do bigger for everybody to know where you are at. But I wanted to know if the sign that is outside is all the names are going to be one font, or everybody's going to choose their own color? Is that going to be like?
Okay, so you're talking about the sign
From outside.
that's outside. The sign that outside is going to be more of a uniform font. But on the interior, if they have a nationally registered trademark, they have the ability where they can use their trademark colors. And also if they have a logo, they can have a logo on the signs out front if they choose, and it could be their site-specific logo. But we want everything to be as legible and as readable as possible.
But the one outside, that will be all of them will be the same kind of font and
Same
the
font,
color?
but if there's a logo, the logo would obviously differ.
Okay.
And they could put a logo. Most of our tenants, or Mr. Mitchell's tenants, I don't anticipate will have logos, but some will.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question for Nielsen. Glad you're coming.
With regard to that, one second. It's a very good question. On page 8 of the staff report, we have tenant signs will follow criteria set forth by the master sign plan and remain consistent with the color scheme below. They're providing, the applicants have provided color scheme. Tenants can have channel letters in the following 2 fonts. And they provided the 2 type of fonts, Helvetica Medium or Americana Extra Bold. Regional and national chains are permitted to use their brand logo if approved by landlord. So that's part of the.
And then one other point, as Nielsen pointed out, we'll be utilizing individual letters. So it's done very, very tastefully. In the world of signage, and I'm not meaning to take up your time, but you can either do it what they call a racetrack, or you could do an individual letter. And so these are all individual letters. They could be backlit or have push through copy, but it's just so much classier than what you would see with the racetrack look.
Thank you.
Nielsen, just while it's fresh on my mind, can you make a note to look at our code in terms of how we address hazardous waste storage and disposal, and get back to me? I want to know what our code specifically says in terms of that, and maybe send me a report and copy counsel on it.
Of course.
And then I have to say, in terms of the signage, this is probably the most complete master sign plan that has ever been presented to council. It certainly bakes in all of the flexibility that the applicant could possibly ever need, even moving forward. And
We had several meetings with the applicant.
I can tell you worked very hard on this.
With scenarios and, to try to explain the different alternatives.
Excellent. Ultimately, what it's going to do is it's going to keep them from having to continue to come before us to approve every little change. They've got the flexibility to do whatever they need. Full disclosure, also, I met with the applicant and we went through this whole sign plan and I asked tons of questions. They were nice enough to do that for me.
Excuse me, sir, when you said the applicant, representative of the applicant?
I met with Don, I met with the applicant himself, and I met with the landowner.
Okay, to the best of my knowledge, the applicant is Minto because transaction's not
I'm
closed.
sorry, the contract purchaser,
Correct, all right.
the applicant, contract purchaser, and his representative, Don.
Anybody else, please?
I did not meet with the client.
And meet with the client.
Did not meet with the client.
Okay,
You have a public hearing.
let's open up to public comment, and then do we have any discussion amongst ourselves on this master sign plan?
I did not.
Anybody? Let's open up to public.
Mayor, I received no previous public comment cards. However, we'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hand. If you wish to make a comment, please state your name and your address. You may unmute your device. If you've been muted, please press *6. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, hi, this is Anita Piero. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are. Please state your address.
Yes, 5991 Whippoorwill Circle, Westlake, Florida, 33470. Just a quick question. I'm curious, do we have a candidate for vice mayor?
Ma'am, with all due respect, your question can come up at a later date, but this is a specific item. If you have a question pertaining to this application,
Oh,
that
okay.
would be the
All
time
right,
to
very
address it.
well. Thank you so
Thank
much. I
you.
just thought it was going to be at this meeting, but no problem. Thank you.
Is there anyone that wishes to make a public comment? Please state your name and your address. You have 3 minutes. I see no public comments.
Okay. Motion.
Motion to approve MSP/2021/08.
Second.
For clarification, that,
With all of the recommended staff waivers.
With all the recommended waivers, master sign plan for 2 light industrial warehouse building with HOD H parcel G at Westlake Landing
You don't-
with the 32 waivers and 2 conditions
Recommended by staff.
recommended by staff.
Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you second the motion.
Mr. Lantowski.
Thank you.
Should we read by title?
there's no title.
Motion by Councilwoman Valier Ron, seconded by Councilman Langowski. Roll call. Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Langowski,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Valier Ron.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening and look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, new business. Our Art and Public Places Advisory Board. Should we have some discussion? So,
Mr. Mayor, as you take this up, I've been looking at this and consider recommending to the council that instead of appointing all 5 personnel at one time for the same term, that you modify and have 2 seats for 1 year, 2 seats for 2 years, 1 seat for 3 years. You all can decide who you want on which seats. But that way, you'll have continuity over time period. As people may drop off, other people come in, you'll have that continuity over a long period of time. That would be my recommendation to the council, that they modify the appointments to be set,
I personally love the idea of staggering the seats. I mean, our very own council has staggered seats, and what this does is it'll, keep fresh blood, so to speak, in the board if they want to have turnover, not getting everybody moving out, and everybody moving in at the same time. How we go about doing that is another question. You have a recommendation?
Comment, well, for the, reading through all these bios, for the 3-year person, 3-year term, I would probably suggest Nancy Bongiovanni because of her expertise.
I'm sorry?
That's-
I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nancy Bongiovanni. Based on her bio, I would probably put her into the 3-year term.
So should we assign seat numbers? What should we actually do here?
What I would respectfully suggest, if you don't mind, Mayor, interrupting, as a council member mentioned, I would take these up one by one for the term. And then once you have the terms, you can do that, then we'll collectively entertain a motion to appoint all 5 members for the specific terms approved.
All right, I mean, we have 5 applicants and 5 seats, so at the very least, everybody's getting a seat.
Yes, so your challenge is the terms.
Challenge is the terms.
So we have to make a motion as board to approve all 5 candidates.
I would do it independently for example, your candidate for 3 years, entertain a motion. Second, if it's approved, you've got 1. Then once we go through all 5, we'll read the resolution and appoint all 5.
143.
So should we do this like we normally do appointments, where we all say who we want? What are we gonna do? 1 3-year seat? 2 3-year
One
seats?
3-year seat.
One 3-year seat, 2 2-year seats, 2 1-year seats. And again, at the end of the 1 year, you can reappoint that person for another year.
Right.
So,
And, this will give them an opportunity too, if somebody wants to cycle off,
correct.
they can do so without, feeling bad about it. You're right, 143?
143.
Nice. So Greg wants,
So you're right. To your right in group F.
yeah, no, this is,
Oh, that's for another person.
that's somebody else. There's somebody on 141 too.
Yeah, the agenda packet starts at 135 for all the candidates.
Gotcha. Which one fit there? For me, I'm just very pleased that we had this many residents that were excited about the board and want to contribute to beautifying our city even further than it already is. I was just about to ask if any of them were here, but I just looked at. I was gonna see, I was gonna get their input as far as whether they wanted to be 3 years, 2 years, or 1 year.
I know Mrs. Bongiovanni, she was the one asking about the biohazard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she was the one? Oh,
Said her name is Nancy Bongiovanni.
and she's
Yeah.
the nurse.
So I'm assuming it's her.
She's very active at all the meetings.
Mayor, if I may, Mrs. Bongiovanni is still online, as well as Ms. Lewis.
Oh, phenomenal.
Miss Lewis.
He's 137.
Ms. Bongiovanni, while we have you, would you be interested in the 3-year term? What we're gonna do is we're gonna stagger the term of the seats. 1 3-year, 1 2-year, and no, what did we say?
1 3, 2 2, and 2 singles.
1 3-year, 2 2-year terms, and 2 single-year terms. Since you are on the line, would you be interested in a 3-year, a 2-year, or a 1 year?
I'm rather shocked and I'm very grateful to be recognized. I will gladly accept a 3-year assignment if you so choose to do that for our community. And I'm just really reeling right now because I'm excited to be a part of this. Did you hear me?
I did. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ms. Lewis, since you're on the line, would you be interested in a 3-year, a 2-year, or a 1-year appointment to this committee?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
I think I have the same sentiments as Nancy, that I'm just like thrilled to be able to serve as on this advisory board. So I do not have a preference at this time. I'm a little bit on the spot, but so I would serve at the pleasure of the council and what they deem it would be the best fit for the board.
Ms. Lewis, thank you. Well,
Yes.
since the two of them are the ones who are here, and Giovanni has expressed her willingness to do 3, and Ms. Lewis is perfectly okay with 2, that's going to be my recommendation for the 3-year and the 2-year seat. So I
Mr. Mayor.
guess the discussion would be amongst our other 2 council members, and we would need a motion.
And I would make, as the attorney referenced, a motion for the 3-year seat, then a motion for the 2-year seats, then a motion for the 1-year seats, each person individually as to what length of time.
So just since we're having clear discussion here, my logic is they're on the line. They've kind of worked it out amongst themselves based on Greg's recommendation. Nancy would like the 3-year seat and Ms. Lewis is okay with the 2. That is my recommendation. I don't know how you guys feel about that, Councilman Martinez and Councilwoman Ron.
I agree with that, though. Makes sense to me as well.
Yeah, I think I agree.
So in that case, let's get a motion for the 3-year seat.
Yes, make a motion for Nancy Bongiovanni to serve a 3-year term on the Art and Public Places Committee.
I second.
We have a motion by Councilman Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Vayron. Roll call. Councilman Langowski,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayron,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
So now let's have a motion for the 2-year seat.
Make a motion to appoint Gail Blair Lewis to serve a 2-year term on the Art and Public Places Committee.
I second that motion.
We have a motion by Councilman Langowski, seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call. Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vayron,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Langowski.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now we were going to do the following 3, or we were going to do another 2?
So I have another comment, or then we can base it on maybe years they've been here in the community. I'm not sure if that.
We can do.
I was looking at the rest. I mean, they're all very interested in serving. And I'm not sure how to break it down from there then.
Well, I mean, full disclosure, I actually know Paul Abrams. He's an actual artist. I've seen his art. It's pretty wild, but I have a different recommendation. I say we just appoint the next 3 people as 1-year seats.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to complicate it, they're not on the line, and we can just make them all 1-year seats.
I'm good with
It's your
that.
choice.
Yeah.
Should we make that one motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does somebody else want to do it?
Make a motion.
I think that's the easiest way to
Okay, let's do
stop the
that.
baby up here.
Okay, I make a motion to appoint Jennifer Estes, Lauren Mondell, and Paul Abrams to a 1-year term serving on the Arts and Public Places Committee.
I second.
I have a motion by Councilman Langowski, seconded by Councilwoman Vayron. Roll call. Councilwoman Vayron,
Yes.
Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Langowski,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Mayor, if I could. Resolution by title only, a resolution of City Council, City of Westlake, Florida, appointing 5 members to serve on the Art and Public Places Advisory Board, providing for conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date. You have a motion to adopt the resolution, please?
I make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Langowski, and seconded by Councilman Martinez. Roll call, Mayor O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Langowski,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Valle Ron.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay. Council member comments. New Councilman, Mr. Greg Langowski.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say to the citizens of the city of Westlake, I look forward to serving you and to the council, working with you. And one other comment, maybe if the council feels comfortable at the next council meeting, if we can maybe remove the plexiglass. That's just throwing that out. And that's it for me.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Councilman Martinez.
Just also to citizens, I'm excited, looking forward to what we as a citizen-based council now will work towards in the future, and I'm excited for everything we have coming.
Councilwoman Valleron.
Well, I'm very excited for this new year coming. And I congratulate you, all of you, because you guys deserve it. No? You work, JP, you work very hard. And I'm very excited to work with you as a mayor. And Greg and Mr. Martinez, we're going to do a great team. We're going to work for our city. Mr. Ken, and we're going to do good.
Thank you very much. I do, I'm not 100% if this is the appropriate time, but I do want to talk possibly about our next meeting and workshop. The former council, it's the workshop, and it's actually something Ms. Tapiro touched on, which is a topic extremely important to me and dear to my heart because it's the appointment of my next seat. We scheduled that workshop with the former council. And I think that should have been a discussion with the current council because that's something the current council is going to be choosing. And as much as I would love nothing more to get somebody in that seat soon and without haste, I think we need to have a discussion of what times are suitable for everybody for a workshop, as well as the next meeting is the appointment of the vice mayor position. I think that we should have a full council before we make that decision. That might be a lot to stomach in one sitting. So what I would almost like to do, and I don't know how we do it legally, but I would like to delay everything a month. Let's actually make the appointment for my old seat at the May meeting. That'll give us an entire month to collect applicants and really make sure that we have a big pool of qualified people, and then push the vice mayor appointment to the meeting after that, or at the very end of that meeting. So instead of doing it in April, we do it
Talking
in
about
May.
you're talking about a May and June?
May and June or May and May, but I think that this should have been scheduled with this council. It should have been a discussion for us.
We were just trying to move it
No, I
along
get it.
quickly.
I totally get it.
But it's up to the council's pleasure, and if you'd like to schedule it that way, I don't believe there's any drawback unless there's a time frame on the appointment.
No,
EJ?
sir.
Okay. So we would have the time frame to be able to do that. So we can cancel the previously scheduled workshop, schedule the,
And staff can work with the new council to see what day, works for a good workshop, so we can get back to
Right.
it. We'll pick a schedule. This way, we're not rushing it. And then we open it up to receive some more applications.
right. So you'll have your filling of the seat in May. Well, what we'll do is what I would suggest we do is we have the workshop in late April so that y'all can interview all the potential candidates and shortlist and then come down to your list for the May meeting. Would be my suggestion as far as the time frame and sequencing.
I personally would be great with that. Now, the only caveat is I know per our charter that vice mayor appointment is scheduled for April, even though I think for me, it ended up being in May. But do we need to do something legally to make that okay for May?
We'll double check with legal and see.
Look at that.
Okay. I mean, that's the way I feel about it.
I'm fine with that. I just had a comment because the opening was supposed to start tomorrow for applicants to start sending in.
We can still open it tomorrow. We'll still advertise.
Moving that to.
No, we're still advertise that it's an opening as of today for
Okay.
tomorrow. We'll just give them more time to collect them. We'll set the April workshop, which if y'all want to pick a date now in mid-late, actually it could be typically we set your council meeting for the second Monday in April, leaving the fourth Monday of the month open in case you wanted to
Could
do a
we
second
actually have
meeting.
the applicants come to the workshop, or is that not?
Yes, you would have them come to the workshop, be prepared to have, 10, 15 minutes with each one, interviewing them. And then you all would shortlist and decide amongst yourselves which one you would choose.
Do you guys have your April schedules? Do you want to do this now, or do you want to get with Zoe?
I have my schedule.
Mayor, to your point in the charter provides for the vice mayor. The city council at its first regular meeting after the fourth Tuesday of each March shall elect from its membership a vice mayor shall serve at the pleasure of city council. So your charter, as you indicated, at its first regular meeting after the fourth Tuesday of each March. I don't know where that came from.
That's the April meeting.
It's your April meeting. Okay.
So how does that, what do we need to do? Move to,
Well, what you could do is move your regular April meeting toward the end of the month. Have a workshop before that. But I think
But it
to
has
your
to be done in
point,
April?
I think your appointment to fill the vacancy and the vice mayor appointment could take place at one meeting.
could we bring it up at the April meeting and simply table it?
The appointment,
Just to comply with the charter?
I would advise you not to.
Okay.
It's written shall elect, and it doesn't require you to have 5 members of the.
Right. I just think it's in the
I-
best justice of the city to have
Right.
5 members. But what's the move? The fourth Tuesday in March, so can we just push the April meeting to the very end? This is tricky.
The April 25th, I'm out of town.
Okay.
That's a Monday. But that's the fourth Monday.
And then we'll have to appoint both. We'll have to do the seat and the vice mayor.
Yes.
We just do vice mayor out of, I just don't want to rush the appointment of my old seat. That's what I really don't want to do. We could do vice mayor in April and then still appoint the seat in May.
Correct.
How do you guys feel about that?
I
I
think
feel
we
like we're
could-
rushing. I feel like you guys weren't in the decision to schedule this workshop and vet the candidates. And it's up to my colleagues here. What do you guys want to do?
I feel that it's a rushing decision. We like you said, it's better if the people have the opportunity to apply and then we can see them. Not everybody's gonna be able to do in a rush.
I mean, the vice mayor seat gets reappointed every single year, so
You're out the 25th.
we just miss out on that one person qualifying to be vice mayor for this go around. It reduces the pool.
Yeah.
We decide amongst ourselves. They'll be applicable to be the vice mayor next go around. But I think it's more important to really do our due diligence and fill this seat, you know, really not rush it.
Yeah.
So you could do basically what you're, as I'm understanding it now, you're saying that at the April meeting, you would appoint the vice mayor
For the charter we have.
for the
to.
charter. And then at the May meeting,
We'll appoint.
we'll
Appoint my old speaker.
appoint the vacancy.
I'm okay with that.
I'm good.
I would have loved to have a full council to choose from, but in this case, it's just not the way the cards are dealt. So, and charter is like a rock that we can't bend, so we have to do it this way.
Okay, so April. So Zoe, the ad, there's a time limit on the applications for the open seat?
I haven't said it yet. It's going out tomorrow. I can put whatever a council would like.
Okay.
Does the workshop have to be on a Monday? I know.
Workshop can be your choice any day.
I need Zoe to tell us what day because I need to make sure
We're
my
gonna
calendar.
decide now.
Now?
Yeah, we'll decide right now.
What day is,
Towards the end of April, it's not the 25th
And 26.
and 26th.
It's a Monday and Tuesday.
Or Monday and Tuesday.
Have you had workshops on Wednesdays and?
Most of the time we've done, I think we did one on Wednesday. We've done a Wednesday and a Thursday if you had to. I mean, you could do it the week of the 8th of the like 19th or 20th.
Good, that was good.
I'll make any day work.
I'm unavailable the 18th or the 21st that week.
What was the date you just mentioned?
He said the 18th and 19th.
Well,
19th.
19th.
I'm good on the 19th.
You're good on the 19th or no?
19th works.
What's the 19th of April?
I'm not sure.
Or the 20th.
I'm good on the 20th.
You can do the 19th.
19th?
Yeah.
What time do you guys want to do?
You tell me, I'm flexible.
6:30, our usual time? of the day?
Yeah.
6:30?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be April 19th at 6:30 will be the workshop to go through the candidates for the open position. Very good.
We appoint, what's that May meeting, the 9th, the 8th?
The May meeting
Oh, no.
is the
7th?
16th.
I have it as the 9th.
I mean, the 9th, I'm sorry.
The 9th.
9th.
We'll have a regular April meeting, which will appoint the vice mayor at the regular April meeting.
Workshopping.
The workshopping at the end of the month
Appointing my seat.
to
in May.
appoint the open seat at the May meeting.
So we have an April meeting at the 11th,
Yes.
and then the next week, the Tuesday, we're gonna have the other workshop.
Yes.
Correct.
At nighttime, 6:30.
That night.
Okay.
I look forward to working with all my wonderful colleagues, just like we just did, to achieve a common goal. It's great.
Are we gonna have them present in front of us like we did the previous appointment?
Yes.
It's however you all want to manage your time, depending on the number of candidates. You may want to squeeze their time frame a little bit. Depends on how you want to do it, and how long you want to go that night.
How many people actually?
How many
apply?
people actually
When
apply.
it comes down to, we're gonna have a good pool of people.
It depends on what you want to do on your time management.
I think presenting in front of the council and the city live shows a lot of someone who wants to step into the seat.
100%. I couldn't agree
Okay.
with you more. Oh, for the record, I'm okay with losing these too. Yeah.
Another question for the cutoff period. Did we have to set a cutoff period for the applicants? Before the April 19th
Yeah, I'd
date?
like to have a few days, at least to go through them. I don't want to cut off the day of the.
I would.
No.
If I can,
I would
if I can
recommend-
clarify, I at least need 2 weeks prior to the meeting to put together the agenda. So if we can
Cut off by April
have that
5th.
in mind.
April what?
April
Fifth.
5th.
April 5th.
Should keep it open that long?
It'll be open tomorrow, closing April 5th. like 3 weeks. Gives plenty of time for people to get their thought processes together to apply or not, make their decision. Gives you all time for Zoe to receive them, get them out to you, gives you about a week and a half to review them, to be ready for your questions for the individuals, gives them time to prepare for the meeting and go from there.
I just think it was too rushed. It's too important of a seat. It's my seat, guys. All right.
Okay.
Staff reports. City Attorney.
Congratulations, Mayor, members of the council. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to work with you. You met my law partner this evening, Jacob. It's our pleasure to be here. He and I have had the responsibility of representing Westlake as interim city attorneys. And we look forward to the opportunity of moving forward with you.
Mr. Castle.
Yes, again, as much as a pleasure it was worked with prior council, I'm anticipating this council is going to be I won't say a blast, but I'll say a good, I think the vision, I think the enthusiasm, I think the feel for the city and the wanting to make it the best city in the county is here. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you to continue the vision and going forward. Two other things, if you haven't noticed, the walls are up on Christ Fellowship. And I had one other thing, but I forgot what it was, so it's not important.
So staff reports, this says Captain Turner, but I can see that we don't have Captain Turner.
No, Captain Turner isn't, but a newly assigned LT.
I'm Lieutenant Robert DiMarzo, Executive Officer for District 15 under Captain Turner. So you guys will be seeing me a lot, and congratulations to the new board. I'm excited to be signed out here because there's a lot of growth going on, and it seems, it's fun. So I did bring some a report for February 2022 real quick. During the month of February, there was 2,642 generated calls within District 18, City of Westlake. 94% of those are self-initiated. So basically, there was 2,421 business/residence checks, 71 traffic stops, and then there was 221 calls of service. That excludes business checks and residential checks. 73 written and verbal warnings, and 13 citations, so 86 traffic warnings/citations. Only crime was construction burglaries. There was 2, and there was 1 vandalism. So just 3 for the month of February. Construction burglaries, they will go down. Obviously, there's construction all over, so but they will go down as the city develops and things like that. Any questions for me?
Do we know what most of our traffic stops are for?
Probably, I'm thinking like speed and things like that. I don't have it written down. I don't have it here, but they're focusing on speed and stop sign usage. They also, is there Seminole Ridge right here?
Yes.
I believe they do some school enforcement speed zones there as well. It's my first day on the assignment, and
welcome.
Thanks, and I'll be seeing you guys around.
LT, what district did you come? Were you always in this district, or did they move you from a different?
No, I was, I got this job. I was a lieutenant on the road, watch commander in the Western region and in the North region. And then prior to being promoted to lieutenant, I was detective sergeant in District 16, which is the city of Green Acres. So I understand the dynamic of the city. Because that's also a contract city that the sheriff's office gets contracted for. So a little bigger than Westlake, but I understand the dynamic of the city and working with them in events and stuff like that. So
When you say Western District, Belgrade, South Bay,
right, Western region is it's Royal Palm, Wellington, Westlake, District 15. That's unincorporated.
Not as far as like Belgrade.
Yeah, and all the way out to Belgrade.
All the way out.
Yeah, your watch commander on the road, so you get a region. Yeah.
Excellent. We look
All right.
forward to working with you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I do too. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question about the report staff timing. Uh, Patiently waited throughout the whole meeting for his report, which I think usually doesn't have too much involved in it. Does he need to usually go at the end of the meeting?
We put all the staff reports at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Also, he gets to hang around and have an officer present.
That is nice.
It is nice.
That is nice.
As we grow, it'll be nice.
Any public comments?
I received no previous comment cards. We'll give the virtual audience a moment to raise their virtual hands. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your virtual hand. Please state your name and your address. You have 3 minutes. Ms. Torres?
Hi, Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. I just want to say congratulations to everybody, and already I'm feeling a difference. I think this is really exciting to have a fully resident-run city council. The other thing was I tried really hard to stay focused, but I did not get the dates for the vice mayor and the appointment, and then for the vacant seat. I know that tomorrow application opens for the vacant seat and ends on April 5th, but I didn't get the other meetings.
The vice mayor position will be appointed by the council at the April meeting, at the regular April meeting. By
Okay.
the 4 members of the council currently.
Okay. And then
It's
when will?
April 11th.
And that meeting is April 11th.
Okay, thank you. And then when will the vacancy, Mayor O'Connor's vacancy, be filled?
That will be at the May
9th.
May 9th meeting.
Okay.
In April, we're filling it in May.
Correct.
May regular meeting, and then that workshop in April was the 19th at 6:30.
Correct.
That is correct.
Okay, and that's when potential applicants will present.
Correct.
Okay, all right, thanks.
They can start getting their applications in as early as tomorrow.
Yeah,
Correct.
perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If there is anyone else that wishes to make a public comment, please raise your virtual hand or unmute your device, state your name and your address. You have 3 minutes. I see no comments, Mayor.
On that note, let's adjourn at 9:42 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I have stuff to sign.